My mother is a soldier who veteraned week after week in the trenches.
Analysis paralysis, but actually accomplishing things, actually making measurable change towards goals. So that's what I personally like.
First of all, I totally felt like Shorty was coming at my neck. Like, wait a minute, slow down. Analysis paralysis, actually doing the things that you're gonna do, getting out of here. You're like, first of all, Hey, mic check 1 2 1 2. I am just going to do a reaction video to the Type 5 Enneagram because that's what I am. Today I did a recording. Let me slow down just in case I actually use this content. But today I did a recording of me doing the second month of my major goal in my GMST workbook. And part of that is taking accountability for your personality type, your Enneagram personality type. Taking accountability for your Enneagram personality type and how is that going to affect you overall in achieving your goals. So I'm going to be doing a reaction. Let's see. That is not what I want to do. Okay. So what I want to do is it theater mode? Yeah, there we go. I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger on this. I wonder if that's going to work, but we'll see. Oh, God. What do you want? What?
Stay right there, but INTJ struggles.
Hold on, because he ain't going to stop. I'm going to have to redo this again. Okay, oh my God. So I guess at this point I can just, let's see.
Also, didn't know how to do a ponytail until I was in 7th grade. So I was like 14 years old. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I want to kind of compare the growth strategies for Myers-Briggs cognitive functions and Enneagram. And they both have kind of trajectories for growth that they recommend.
Pause. So the reason why I think this is so major and so key, and part of the reason why I chose this video is A, because I am a Type 5 Enneagram, B, because I'm an INTJ, C, because this is a female, and INTJs as females are very unique. I'm not sure if she's an INTJ. I've never seen this woman, don't know her from a hole in the wall, but I was like, I am an INTJ and I'm an Enneagram Type 5. So I would love to see what they have to say about that. This video is 14 minutes long, so we'll see. I only do all that because this video, I got 30 minutes. So let's just say that. Let's go.
I'm going to be specifically comparing the INTJ cognitive functions model for growth that I have personally used, and then also the growth the Enneagram 5 suggests you use. So I know that not all 5s are INTJs, all INTJs are 5s and all that, but there is a high correlation, and I personally am a 5, so I'm just going to make a video kind of comparing the growth strategies for an INTJ and for an Enneagram 5. So I am an Enneagram 5 wing 4, a social subtype and sexual subtype. Self-preservation is not there. There's no self-preservation at all.
Okay, pause. So oh my goodness. I think that is so funny because I tell guys this when I meet them, and I probably shouldn't, but I do. I don't have a thing that's like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do that. There's nothing that's like, that's not safe. I'm always like, let's do it. I want to do it. I want to try it. And it's like, bro, no, you gotta boop, 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 boop. So I will be like, I don't have a pacer, or I use green, yellow, and red flags, because otherwise I'm just out here in these streets like.
So the first one that I want to talk about is actually the arrows. So according to Beatrice Chestnut, you first want to go against the arrow, and that kind of reclaims some power that you supposedly lost in childhood. And then after you've really developed that one, then you go with the arrow, and that should carry you throughout the rest of your life. So that's one model for personal growth. So in the case of the Enneagram 5, going against the arrow is toward an 8. And this really reminds me of developing TE. It's developing authority, being a lot more decisive, using your voice more. They can be known as being angry, but it's really using your power more so. I think all of the IJs can be too much in the background and really not using their power as much. So I think that's really important to develop first. And in the model of growth that I've been using for cognitive functions, they kind of recommend like going in order and growth that direction. So supposedly you naturally have always been good at your dominant function, and then you need to work on TE, which is actually, producing results, taking action, not getting so stuck in analysis paralysis, but actually accomplishing things, actually making measurable change towards goals. So that's what I personally like.
First of all, I totally felt like Shorty was coming at my neck. Like, wait a minute, slow down. Analysis paralysis, actually doing the things that you're gonna do, getting out of here. You're like, first of all, shit.
I found a lot of benefit from that. I worked on TE solidly, just TE for 5 years, and I'm definitely
what?
With it. There definitely is. I found a lot of benefit from that. I worked on TE solidly, just TE for 5 years, and I'm definitely with it. There definitely is.
First of fucking all, I thought I was bugging this whole time. Like, oh, I've been doing my personal accountability journey. For me, it's been 11 years, but shit. First of all, what is TE? And then I feel like I want to go back and list some of those things because, see, and as this is how we are. This is how we talk. We just be getting it out. Oh my God. Okay.
Analysis paralysis, but it's actually, producing results, taking action, not getting.
Okay, producing results. SULT. Yeah, bitch. Taking action. That sounds good because these are not things that I do well. But I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be that person. And I think this is so important why I do what I do. And I'm so glad that I was like, oh, I'm going to make me a reaction video today. Because I want everyone to feel this way. I want everybody to know that you really can reclaim your power because, like, if for me, taking action and producing results is not my thing, someone else who does those things well may not be able to be emotionally intelligent or things that just like, come naturally easy to me. All right. So what else she said?
So stuck in analysis paralysis, but actually accomplishing things, actually making measurable change towards goals. So that's what I personally like. I found a lot of benefit from that. I worked on TE solidly, just TE for 5 years, and I'm definitely not done with it. There definitely is.
Pause one more time. So this goes to show that when I say I made this fucking workbook so that you can get your shit together. Shorty said she worked on TE for 5 years. I've been on my personal development, my personal accountability journey for 12 years now. And so I'm just giving myself a big pat on my back. I'm proud of me for putting the Enneagram and the Myers-Briggs, the Myers-Briggs inside of my workbook. So shameless plug, the workbook is GMST personal accountability workbook. I made a journal to go along with it so that in the event that you are somewhere and you don't have your workbook, you can still have a catch-all. Let's get back to what Shorty is saying. Just know when I made my workbook, I was thinking of you.
Still more to do, but I worked on just TE solidly for 5 years. Then, according to Beatrice Chestnut with the Enneagram, you then go with the arrow, which for a 5 is toward the 7. And the 7, to me, I get the vibes way different from an 8. It's a lot more playful, a lot more exploratory, a lot more fun. A lot of the 7s I know are very fun, a lot more extroverted. Or actually, both of these types seem fairly extroverted to me, 8s and 7s. To me, I kind of associate it with cognitive functions. It reminds me kind of of NE, and it also reminds me of SE. So I feel like this really aligns with cognitive functions. So pause, because I don't know where she's about to go. But I would like to say that I naturally go towards a 7. And I guess, so I did the whole thing in reverse. Like, I am very playful, very fun, very outgoing. However, for me, I developed that skill because I know what it was like to be the new person all the time. And I've also often been put in a position to have to lead. And I know how I want to be led.
So I do those things from a place of wanting other people to feel more comfortable, not because naturally I am comfortable doing it. Like if somebody else wants to come in and run the show, have at it. I will be over here observing. But I've also often been put in positions of leadership. So because of that, I come off more in my 7 wing. Like, I mean, finding out shit.
Is where, Enneagram 7s, kind of their issue is that they're running too much. As soon as something is too stagnant, they are on to the next thing and they're kind of running away from their problems. I kind of the opposite of what 5s do, and I think INTJs do. We can be physically very stagnant, not moving very much at all, not very expressive. Even if we're very excited about some things, we do not emote very much, and we just don't physically show things. And so I have started only for the last year, I worked on like 5 years on TE, and I worked on for the last year, I worked on SE. It's shown basically a dramatic difference because it was basically shut off. Like I would say I was naturally.
Well, I'm gonna have to cut all this out. Shit.
Even though I'm still not as high as I'm using TE, it's dramatic. It's not dramatic. So that one seems a lot more fun to me. It seems like, wow, look at those results. You can really see those results. So I think TE kind of enjoys to see the results of how things are going. So yeah, so in that way, I think they kind of parallel. So now I'm going to go ahead and read through the levels of health according to the Enneagram. So you can take an Enneagram 5, and there are 9 levels of health. So I'll go through those and kind of show how that basically parallels developing cognitive functions. Okay, so I want to start down at level 9, so the least healthy Enneagram 5. So it says seeking oblivion. So to me, that sounds like you are way in NI too much. They may commit suicide or have a psychotic break with reality. Deranged. Yeah, they just get crazy, these disorders, so they do not get down here. That's all I'll read that one, because they just get into these disorders. Level 8, so a level healthier. Get obsessed, yet frightened by their threatening ideas, become horrified, delirious, and prey to gross distortions and phobias. So this obsessiveness, I think, is definitely something that I hear INTJs talk about, getting obsessed with their ideas when they're unhealthy. And I think that comes to me way too much in NI and way in FI. I think FI is very idealistic in its ideas and can be very extreme, especially with morals. A level healthier, level 7, becomes reclusive and isolated. So to me, that sounds like a bad loop. You're not very extroverted. Eccentric and nihilistic. Highly unstable and fearful of aggressions. They reject and repulse others and all social attachments. So introverted to the max, which I talk about in my other videos. It's unhealthy to be too introverted. Okay, so those are 3 unhealthy levels. Now we're in kind of the medium levels, up to level 6. Begin to take an antagonistic stance toward anything which would interfere with their inner world and personal vision. That sounds like NI when you talk about your visions, especially I think it sounds like FI a little bit too when you talk about things that are highly personal to you. It's like your personal vision is like mine, it's like my protective thing, cynical and argumentative. So I think a lot of this lower level Enneagram 5 stuff sounds like NI and FI used in a bad relationship with each other. So 5, increasingly detached, which like we say, like being objective is good and detached is good, but so increasingly detached, they become involved with complicated ideas or imaginary worlds. And so I think that could be a complicated ideas, but like all this none of this is in the real world. And it says become preoccupied with their visions and interpretations rather than reality. So this is interesting, but less valuable.
Not for nothing. If you're watching this video,
fine-tuning everything before acting. So
shit, you might need to know this.
Just now at level 4, there's some action involved here, but we're conceptualizing and fine-tuning everything first, and it probably takes a long time. Working things out in their minds, model building, preparing, practicing, and gathering more resources. Studious, acquiring technique, become specialized and often intellectual, often challenging, accepted ways of doing things. So that's the first level, I think, where we actually have a lot better sort of actions going on here.
Okay.
Studious, challenging, accepted ways of doing things, intellectual, I think this is a lot better. Practicing, that indicates that you're actually doing something. So I think that's actually a much better level. It does indicate that you are going to work towards something, that you are going to take action eventually. It's kind of the whole done is better than
wait.
That you are going to take action eventually. It's kind of the whole on here. Studious, challenging, accepted ways of doing things, intellectual, I think this is a lot better. Practicing, that indicates that you're actually doing something. So I think
so pause. Because I was like, bitch, I was talking to myself. Hold on, let's go back.
Studious, acquiring tech at the top of the average levels. Begin conceptualizing and fine-tuning blocks with Enneagram 5. And when we have such low SE and we subjects, even those involving dark and disturbing elements, probably with this FI, you've not talked to anyone. So your ideas get further and further and further away from reality. Maybe more complicated and interesting, but less valuable. Fascinated by offbeat, esoteric subjects, even those involving dark and disturbing elements. Yeah, that sounds like FI. Detached from the practical world, a disembodied mind, although high-strung and intense. So, yeah.
Okay, so boom. The reason why I came back to that, because I, along with a lot of people I found out, have this obsession with the strange, dark, and mysterious. One of my favorite YouTubers, and he became very, very popular. His whole channel is dedicated to that. That's literally what he says. If you're a big fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious, and a lot of us apparently really, really are, and he's a great storyteller, and it's nothing to him and his content. But that's just like, wait a minute, because some people, they can watch him a healthy amount. Then there's people who they start watching him on Monday, and by Friday they devoured all his content. That was me. I was people. And then there's other channels like the Chapter that are all about people who get murdered and killers, and they're the recordings of them in the interrogation room and stuff like that. So I say all that to say, a couple of months ago, maybe more than a couple, but a while ago, I started saying I probably watch way too much murder. Like, I watch way too many people killing people, getting away with murder, plotting murders, just murder. Like, it's like a funny joke. Like, me and my sister, like, we ready to go watch some people die? You want to go watch some murders? Like, that's how we talk. Like, and it's like, whoa. So and then there was also the years of my life where I would devour like all the esoteric videos about Jesus and Moses and who, what, when, where, why, and how. But yeah, so that's very interesting. And so I've moved from that so much. So now I don't watch as much dark and mysterious murder. Like, I still like Monk, but every episode of Monk involves someone dying. But again, so I'm doing my best to consciously, cognitively move away from that. And I didn't know why, but I was just like, something about that is just not sitting right anymore. So that's good to know. And then, we just listened to the part about number 4. Was like, okay, that's definitely where I am almost consistently. And then I every once in a while have the ability to go to like a level 5.
Yeah,
but let's
this embodied
see
mind thing is something that comes up
what they
again,
say
conceptualized
about a level.
sort of
Where are we
actions
at? 3, 2,
indicate that you
1.
are going to develop a skill, doing something nice, excited by knowledge. This is the first time where we actually see an emotion.
Okay, so
anywhere
that's
in here
always
that's
me.
happy.
I'm
It's not
always
distraught,
excited
it's
by
not
knowledge.
Angry, it's not obsessed, but it's actually a good emotion. So excited by knowledge. So I think that's
And I
the
would
good
consider
side of
myself
that. I find
an
good
expert in
emotion. Also from an
childcare.
SE, I associate excited with
I'm
SE.
very innovative
Excited
and
by knowledge, often become an expert in some field. Innovative and
okay, so I'm not going to, I don't know if they listen to her, but that's totally me. Observe everything with an extraordinary perceptiveness and insight. Most mentally alert, curious, search, intelligence. Nothing escapes their notice, foresight, and prediction. Able to concentrate, become engrossed in what has caught their attention. That's totally me. At their best, become visionaries, broadly comprehending the world while penetrating it profoundly, open-minded, take things in whole in their true context, make pioneering discoveries, and find entirely new ways of doing things. So I am definitely solid 4, solid 3. I'm definitely acquiring that next level. So we don't have to listen to her talk about all of that. You want to listen to her talk about all of that, you can. I only got 10 more minutes to go, and I got a lot more of her to listen to.
Foresight and prediction, best way to do things. I think that's good. Now, participating in the world, fine-tuning and acting.
The theme of the levels.
So just like as a theme, they go from, this is what I've highlighted, seeking oblivion, break with reality, obsessed, acting, excited by knowledge, producing things extremely valuable, visionary, broadly comprehending the world. So you would think that by spending so much time alone, you would think that that's where you, or at least that's what I would think. When I spend so much time alone, I feel like I can broadly comprehend the world. I can do research, I can go on the internet, I can read, and that's how I can broadly comprehend the world. But I will be doing something really mundane to me, and then I'll have like a really profound, to me it feels very profound revelation is what it feels like. Much more so than when I was reading. And it seems really backwards, but that's how I found it to actually happen. So you go from like not being involved in the world to being scared of it, and just being a mind, like you're just embodied mind, you're just not involved in the world at all, to then actually truly comprehending the world and penetrating it profoundly. So you are in it and involved in the world
nice.
and understanding it deeply.
Got it.
So it's the shift from observing to participating. That's kind of the big Enneagram 5 thing. Another big Enneagram 5 thing is energy management. So one big struggle for Enneagram 5 is not feeling they have enough energy, and that's why they don't go and participate in it. That's why they stay all walled up to feel like, and I haven't quite understood it quite yet, but apparently it's a facade, and we have abounding energy. And my husband is he's an SE user, he's an ISFP, and
Oh, by the way, I found the answer to that. I'll talk about that later, like in another video, because like I only got 10 left.
You can eat food. And you're
9.
Like, what? I can make myself have more energy? No. It's a tank and it depletes, and that's that. And
Yes.
it's a very small thing. And I
Yes.
feel like that is a concept that really relates to INTJs because we have inferior SE. So if you think of like dominant SE users, the ESPs, they have so much energy. I have students that are ESPs, and they are the ones who are shouting, and they're constantly wanting to stand up. They're moving all the time. They're throwing pencils. The ESPs are the nightmare in the classroom. I feel bad for them, honestly, but as a teacher, I'm like, they're not what I would like to be. They're awful to teach. I feel bad for the school, not tonight for them. But we are kind of like the opposite of that. So we have inferior
Fuck
SE,
it. Love
and it
it.
means that we do not.
Because I work with
we
kids
do
too.
not want to
So
be moving. I mean, I sit in my house, my husband will leave, come back 5 hours later.
INTJs do not give a fuck. They just say
water,
shit straight up.
I have not moved.
She said
I'm
they're the
still
worst
sitting
to
there on the
teach.
computer or reading after 5 hours. And that's not great for me. But a lot of it is that I just feel energized in my mind, and I feel like I have no energy in my body. So I don't want to do that. But according to personal growth using cognitive functions and also the Enneagram, we have to move toward participating in the world, and that will help us generate more energy, even though it doesn't seem like it. And the more we participate in SE, the more energy we will actually have. I think that for some personality types, for some individuals, that the Enneagram might be more helpful than Myers-Briggs. For some, Myers-Briggs might be more helpful. For me, I personally have found Myers-Briggs more helpful for growth. I kind of use all of the systems to gain little pieces of information, but I just like the framework that cognitive functions provides better. Yeah, so a little bit on my thoughts on the Enneagram. I have never really personally dove in and really used it a lot for personal growth. I know a lot about it. I have read Beatrice Chestnut's book. I mean, she just talks about how she really feels like there are more than 9 types. She feels like there's 27 once you factor in the subtypes, which I think is very interesting, and it gets a lot more specific when you factor in the subtypes. However, like in her book, there's not very much information on each subtype. There's like a couple paragraphs on each subtype. So that's why it's hard. So I think it could be better later on, but currently with the amount of information that's out there, I don't feel like I can learn very much. And I do like the system of going with or against the arrow, but the rest of it, like if you just give me 5 bullet points, I feel like I like it as well as I like the idea of the system. And also I just feel like there are some individuals that the Enneagram works better for. Like for example, for my husband, he's an
All right, so this is about to wrap itself up. What was I gonna say? What happens if I do? It doesn't really matter. So I hope you enjoyed me watching and reacting to an INTJ female who's an Enneagram type 5 talk about how knowing about your personality type can truly help you on your personal development journey. If you would like a resource about that, you can check out my workbook at beginwithmyself.com. It's a super simple website, beginwithmyself.com. It's such an INTJ Enneagram type 5 thing. But yes, you can order the workbook and it'll arrive to your house, and then you can start working on it. It is a 3-month SMART goal workbook to help you ask the deep questions that you need to ask and set the one very specific goal that you need. There's also a planner and a notebook that go along with it. You do not have to purchase them in a set. You can to support your girl. And if you would like information about getting the digital download, send me a message at Begin With Myself, either Facebook, Instagram, and Flawed and All here on YouTube. You can also just leave a comment down below. Thanks. Bye.